Good morning, everyone. Have you ever felt your peace shattered by someone's words or actions? Maybe a rude comment, a betrayal, or just an annoying habit we all have. But today I want to share with you a powerful truth. You can reach a state where nothing and no one can anger or bother you. Imagine having total control over your emotions, staying calm in any situation. It's possible, and I'm going to show you how. One of the biggest misconceptions we have is believing that other people make us angry, frustrated, or upset. But the truth is, no one has control over our emotions unless we give them that power. Think about it. If someone insults you, you have a choice in how you react. You can get angry and lash out, or you can shrug it off and move on. The event itself does not create your emotional state. Your interpretation and reaction to it do. The great philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This principle is at the heart of emotional mastery. You can't always control external events or how people behave toward you, but you can always control how you respond. Imagine if, instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you paused, took a deep breath, and chose a response that keeps you calm and in control. Consider two people stuck in traffic. One is fuming, honking, and shouting, letting their day be ruined by something they can't change. The other remains calm, maybe listening to music or using the time to reflect. The same event, two completely different experiences. What's the difference? Their reaction. The traffic didn't cause anger, the person's choice to let it bother them did. The key to never getting angry or bothered by anyone is understanding that your emotions are yours to govern. The moment you accept this, you stop being a puppet controlled by other people's words and actions. Instead, you become the master of your own inner world, unshaken by external negativity. Now, this isn't always easy. We are conditioned to react emotionally, often before we even think. But with practice, we can train ourselves to pause and choose a response rather than react impulsively. Meditation, deep breathing, and self-awareness are powerful tools that help us strengthen this ability. The more we cultivate emotional discipline, the more we realize that no one truly has power over our feelings except us. This shift in mindset is incredibly liberating. Imagine never being affected by rude comments, personal attacks, or annoying behavior. You would walk through life with an unshakable sense of peace, immune to negativity. You would no longer be at the mercy of people's moods, insults, or opinions. And here's the best part. When you stop reacting emotionally, you take away the power that negativity has over you. People who try to provoke you will eventually give up when they realize they can't control your emotions. Your peace becomes your strength, and you become untouchable. One of the biggest reasons we get angry or bothered by people is because our ego gets involved. The ego is that inner voice that constantly seeks validation, respect, and acknowledgement. It is what makes us feel insulted when someone criticizes us, frustrated when we are ignored, and defensive when we are challenged. But here's the truth. Most of our emotional suffering comes from our attachment to the ego. When we take things personally, it is often because our ego feels attacked. Someone makes a rude comment, and instead of brushing it off, we feel the need to defend ourselves, prove them wrong, or retaliate. Why? Because our ego interprets it as a personal attack on our worth. But in reality, what other people say or do has little to do with us and everything to do with them, their perspective, their insecurities, and their mindset. Imagine a scenario where a stranger insults you in a language you don't understand. Would you get angry? Of course not. You wouldn't even know what they said. This shows that words themselves don't hurt us, it's the meaning we attach to them. And that meaning is shaped by our ego. If we can detach from our ego, we can stop feeling the need to react every time someone challenges us or tries to provoke us. A great way to practice this is by shifting our perspective. Instead of thinking, "Why did they say that to me?" or "How dare they treat me like this?" ask yourself, is this really about me or is this about them? More often than not, people's words and actions are a reflection of their own struggles, insecurities, and frustrations. Think about a time when you were in a bad mood and accidentally snapped at someone. Did you really mean to hurt them? Or were you just dealing with something internally? The same applies to others. When someone is rude or dismissive, it's usually because they are going through something themselves. Understanding this makes it much easier to detach emotionally. Another powerful way to detach from the ego is to practice humility. The more secure you are in yourself, the less you feel the need to prove anything to anyone. Confident people don't waste time getting offended by small things. They know who they are, and no comment, insult, or criticism can shake their self-worth. In moments where your ego feels triggered, pause and ask yourself, is this really worth my energy? Will this matter in a day, a week, or a year? Am I responding to this situation, or is my ego reacting? Most of the time, you'll realize that the situation isn't worth your peace. When you let go of the need to be right, to be respected at all times, or to prove yourself to others, you free yourself from unnecessary emotional suffering. Detaching from the ego doesn't mean you allow people to disrespect you. It means you no longer let their words and actions dictate your emotions. It means you recognize that your value isn't determined by what others think or say about you. When you reach this level of detachment, you become unshakable, because no one's opinion can define you except your own. Emotional detachment is one of the most powerful skills you can develop if you want to never get angry or bothered by anyone. It means training yourself to observe your emotions without immediately acting on them. Most people are controlled by their emotions. They react impulsively, get defensive, and allow external situations to dictate their moods. But when you master emotional detachment, you gain the ability to stay calm, collected, and unshaken, no matter what happens around you. To understand emotional detachment, imagine yourself as a third-party observer of your own thoughts and feelings. Instead of immediately reacting when something triggers you, you take a step back and simply notice the emotion rising within you. You acknowledge it, but you don't let it take over your actions. Let's say someone insults you. Your immediate emotional response might be irritation, anger, or hurt. But instead of reacting, emotional detachment allows you to pause and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Is this really worth my energy? Does this person's opinion actually change who I am? When you analyze your emotions instead of immediately expressing them, you create a gap between feeling and action. That gap is where your power lies. Instead of being a slave to your emotions, you become their master. Why is emotional detachment so powerful? It prevents unnecessary conflict. Most arguments and fights happen because people react emotionally rather than thinking rationally. If someone provokes you and you immediately respond with anger, it escalates the situation. But if you remain calm and detached, the conflict often dies out on its own. It protects your peace. Emotional detachment means that you don't allow other people's negativity to disrupt your inner peace. You understand that their actions are a reflection of them, not you. This mindset keeps you in control of your emotions, no matter how others behave. It helps you make better decisions when emotions are running high. We often make impulsive decisions that we later regret. Emotional detachment allows you to step back, evaluate the situation logically, and respond in a way that aligns with your best interests. How to practice emotional detachment? Develop self-awareness. Start paying attention to your emotional triggers. Notice what situations or comments make you feel defensive, angry, or upset. When you become aware of your patterns, you can start training yourself to respond differently. Pause before reacting. Whenever you feel a strong emotion rising, practice the habit of pausing before you respond. Take a deep breath, count to 5, or silently observe your feelings. This small pause gives you the space to choose your reaction instead of letting emotions control you. Reframe situations in a neutral way instead of labeling events as good or bad. Try to see them as neutral. For example, if someone criticizes you, instead of thinking that was rude and offensive, try thinking that's just their perspective. It doesn't define me. This shift in thinking helps you stay emotionally detached from external negativity. Stop taking things personally. Remind yourself that most of what people say and do is not about you. People's actions are based on their own experiences, moods, and struggles. If someone is rude, it's often because they're dealing with their own problems, not because of anything you did. Practice meditation and mindfulness. Meditation teaches you to observe your thoughts without attaching to them. With regular practice, you become better at noticing emotions without letting them dictate your actions. Mindfulness also helps you stay present so you don't get lost in emotional reactions. Adopt a big picture mindset. Ask yourself, will this matter a year from now? In most cases, the things that trigger us are small and insignificant in the grand scheme of life. Keeping this perspective makes it easier to let things go and remain emotionally detached. Final thought on emotional detachment. When you master emotional detachment, you become free from the control of others. People can say or do whatever they want, but they won't be able to trigger you because you have learned to observe your emotions without letting them control you. Emotional detachment is not about suppressing feelings. It's about understanding them, managing them, and choosing peace over reaction. One of the most effective ways to never get angry or bothered by anyone is by mastering the art of silence and pause. In a world where people react impulsively, those who can stay calm and composed hold the greatest power. Silence is not weakness. It is a tool that allows you to control situations, diffuse tension, and maintain your inner peace. Most people react immediately when triggered. Someone insults them, and they fire back. Someone disagrees with them, and they argue. But this instant reaction is often driven by emotion rather than logic. When you pause before responding, you give yourself time to process the situation, analyze the best course of action, and choose your response wisely. Why is silence so powerful? It prevents escalation. Arguments and conflicts escalate because people keep adding fuel to the fire. When someone is being rude or aggressive, responding with the same energy only makes things worse. But when you remain silent, you remove their power. You refuse to feed into negativity, and eventually, the other person loses interest in trying to provoke you. It gives you control over the situation. When you pause before responding, you take control of the interaction. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can assess the situation calmly. This makes you appear more composed, confident, and in charge. Others will start to respect you more when they see that you don't let emotions dictate your actions. It makes others uncomfortable. People expect reactions. When they insult you, they want a response. When they provoke you, they want you to get angry. But when you stay silent, it confuses them. It makes them uncomfortable because they don't know what you're thinking. This often leads them to second guess their actions. And in many cases, they back down completely. It protects your energy. Engaging in unnecessary conflicts drains your energy. Responding to negativity only invites negativity into your life. But when you choose silence, you protect your peace. You avoid wasting time and energy on things that don't serve you. It helps you gain clarity. When emotions are high, our judgment is often clouded. Pausing before responding gives you time to think clearly. You can ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Will my response improve the situation or make it worse? Am I reacting out of ego or responding with wisdom? This moment of reflection allows you to respond in a way that aligns with your values rather than acting on impulse. How to master the art of silence and pause. Practice deep breathing whenever you feel triggered. Take a deep breath before speaking. This small act creates a natural pause, giving you time to calm down and think before responding. Count to 5 before responding. If someone is being rude or aggressive, resist the urge to respond immediately. Instead, count to 5 in your head. This forces you to slow down and prevents knee-jerk reactions. Observe instead of engaging. Instead of jumping into every argument or debate, practice observing. Watch how people react when they don't get the response they expect from you. Notice how your silence makes them more uncomfortable than any words could. Use silence as a form of power. In many situations, silence speaks louder than words. If someone is trying to provoke you, simply looking at them without responding can be more powerful than any comeback. It shows that you are in control and unaffected by their negativity. Delay your response in difficult conversations. If you are in a situation where emotions are running high, whether it's an argument, a disagreement at work, or a personal conflict, practice delaying your response. Say, let me think about that, or I'll get back to you on this. This prevents you from saying something you might regret and allows you to respond from a place of clarity rather than emotion. Remind yourself that not everything needs a response. Sometimes the best response is no response at all. Not every comment, insult, or opinion deserves your attention. When you realize that your silence can be more powerful than words, you naturally become less reactive. Final thought on silence and pause. Mastering the art of silence and pause is one of the most effective ways to stay calm, unbothered, and in control. When you choose not to react impulsively, you gain power over your emotions and the situation. Silence allows you to rise above negativity, maintain your peace, and respond with wisdom instead of impulse. One of the most life-changing realizations you can have is that nothing is truly personal. Most of the time, when people say or do something that upsets us, we assume it is a direct attack on us. We feel insulted, disrespected, or wronged. But in reality, people's actions are rarely about us, they are about them. Their moods, experiences, insecurities, and struggles shape how they treat others. Once you understand this, you stop taking things personally. And as a result, nothing and no one can truly bother you. Why do we take things personally? Ego and self-identity. Many of us subconsciously believe that the way people treat us reflects our worth. If someone is rude, we think it means we are not respected. If someone ignores us, we feel unimportant. But in reality, their actions are about them, not us. Emotional conditioning. From a young age, we are taught to seek validation. When someone criticizes us, it feels like a rejection of who we are, even if that's not their intention. Our emotions become conditioned to react as if every negative experience is a personal attack. Lack of perspective. We often assume that people are deliberately trying to hurt us, but in most cases, they are acting based on their own struggles. A coworker might be short-tempered because they are stressed. A friend might be distant because they are dealing with personal issues. Once you step back and see the bigger picture, you realize that most negativity directed at you isn't actually about you at all. How to adopt a nothing is personal mindset. 1. Realize that people act based on their own reality. Every person views the world through their own lens, shaped by their upbringing, experiences, and current state of mind. If someone is rude to you, it's not necessarily because you did something wrong. It might be because they are having a bad day or have their own personal struggles. The person who yells at you in traffic is likely dealing with stress, not trying to personally offend you. The coworker who criticizes your work may be insecure about their own performance. The friend who cancels plans at the last minute may be struggling with something personal. Once you understand that people's behavior is about them, not you, it becomes much easier to detach emotionally. 2. Don't assign meaning to other people's words and actions. We get upset when we attach meaning to things. If someone ignores your message, you might think they don't care about me. If a stranger looks at you a certain way, you might think they are judging me. But most of the time, these interpretations are completely false. Instead of assuming meaning, try thinking, maybe they didn't see my message. That stranger might just be lost in thought. This person's mood has nothing to do with me. By removing unnecessary meaning from situations, you free yourself from unnecessary emotional suffering. 3. Build unshakable self-worth. When you truly know your worth, you stop needing external validation. Criticism doesn't shake you, and praise doesn't control you. You remain centered in your own sense of self. If someone insults you, instead of reacting defensively, you can think their words don't define me. If someone doubts you, instead of feeling hurt, you can think I believe in myself, and that's enough. If someone excludes you, instead of feeling rejected, you can think the right people will appreciate me. When your confidence comes from within, you become immune to other people's opinions. 4. Practice emotional detachment. Emotional detachment means choosing not to let external events control your internal state. When someone says or does something negative, pause and remind yourself, this is about them, not me. If a stranger makes a rude comment, instead of engaging, just observe and move on. If someone is passive-aggressive, recognize that their behavior is about their own struggles. If someone tries to bring you down, see it as a reflection of their insecurities rather than a true judgment of you. The more you practice this, the less reactive you become. 5. See negativity as a reflection, not a truth. Imagine a mirror. If someone throws mud at it, the mirror doesn't take it personally, it simply reflects what is thrown at it. Similarly, When people act negatively, they are showing you a reflection of what's inside them, not what's inside you. A person full of kindness spreads kindness. A person full of anger spreads anger. A person full of insecurity projects insecurity onto others. The next time someone behaves negatively, instead of feeling hurt, ask yourself, what does this say about them? When you see negativity as a reflection rather than a truth about you, it loses its power over you. Shifting your perspective: if someone is rude, instead of getting angry, recognize that they might be struggling internally. If someone criticizes you unfairly, instead of feeling offended, understand that their words are based on their perspective, not reality. If someone tries to put you down, instead of feeling hurt, remind yourself that confident people don't need to belittle others. By shifting your perspective, you protect your peace. Final thought on not taking things personally: the moment you realize that nothing is truly personal, you free yourself from unnecessary emotional pain. You stop giving people the power to upset you because you understand that their behavior is a reflection of them, not you. When you master this mindset, you become untouchable. No one's words or actions can shake your inner peace. One of the most important lessons in life is realizing that you cannot control other people, only how you respond to them. Most of the time we get angry or bothered because we expect others to act a certain way, and when they don't, we feel frustrated, disrespected, or even hurt. But the reality is, people will behave however they want, regardless of how we feel about it. The key to inner peace is accepting this truth and shifting our focus from changing others to controlling our own reactions. Many people waste their energy trying to make others treat them better, respect them more, or act the way they want. But this is an endless battle because people have their own minds, emotions, and experiences that shape their behavior. Instead of trying to fix, change, or control others, it is far more powerful to master the art of controlling yourself. Why controlling your reactions matters: you free yourself from emotional slavery. If your happiness depends on how others behave, you are giving away your power. If someone is rude and it ruins your day, you have allowed them to control your emotions. But when you take charge of your reactions, no one can dictate how you feel except you. You become more emotionally resilient. Life is unpredictable, and people will not always act the way you want. Some will be rude, unfair, or inconsiderate. But if you learn to control how you react, these situations won't affect you as deeply. You build resilience, and over time, things that used to upset you will no longer have the same power over you. You create a more peaceful life when you stop wasting energy on trying to change others and instead focus on mastering your own emotions. You experience more peace. You learn to let go of small annoyances, avoid unnecessary conflicts, and keep your emotions balanced. You gain influence over others. Ironically, the more you try to control people, the more they resist. But when you master your own reactions and lead by example, others naturally start to respect and follow you. People are drawn to those who remain calm under pressure and don't let negativity affect them. How to control your reactions instead of others: 1. Accept that people will be how they are. The first step to emotional freedom is accepting that you cannot control other people. No matter how much you want someone to be kind, respectful, or considerate, they will act based on who they are, not based on what you want. If someone is naturally negative, trying to change them will only frustrate you. If someone is disrespectful, demanding their respect won't work. Self-respecting people don't need to beg for respect. If someone is inconsiderate, expecting them to suddenly become thoughtful will only set you up for disappointment. Instead of wishing people were different, accept them as they are and adjust your reactions accordingly. 2. Pause before reacting. Most emotional reactions happen because we don't take a moment to think before responding. If someone says something rude, we instinctively snap back. But this only escalates the situation and makes us feel worse. The next time you feel triggered, pause for a moment before reacting. Take a deep breath, count to 5. Or mentally ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Will reacting help, or will it make things worse? Can I let this go instead of engaging? This small habit of pausing allows you to choose a better response rather than acting on impulse. 3. Choose how you want to feel. Most people allow external events to dictate their emotions. If someone is rude, they get upset. If someone is dismissive, they feel offended. But in reality, you have the power to choose your emotional state. Ask yourself, do I really want to waste my energy being upset over this? Is this person's opinion so important that it should affect my happiness? What would happen if I simply chose not to care? By consciously choosing your emotional state, you take back control over your own mind and refuse to be a victim of other people's behavior. 4. Practice emotional detachment. Emotional detachment is the ability to step back from situations and view them objectively rather than emotionally. Instead of taking things personally, learn to observe events without reacting emotionally. If someone is yelling, imagine yourself as an outsider watching the situation unfold. If someone is trying to provoke you, see their behavior as an attempt to get a reaction and deny them that satisfaction. If someone's actions disappoint you, remind yourself that your expectations are your own and they are not responsible for meeting them. The more you practice emotional detachment, the less things will bother you. 5. Reframe negative situations. Instead of seeing negative interactions as personal attacks, try to reframe them in a way that reduces their emotional impact. Instead of thinking this person is being rude to me, think this person must be having a bad day. Instead of thinking, why are they treating me like this? Think their behavior is about them, not me. Instead of thinking, I can't believe they said that, think, I don't need to react to every little thing. Changing your perspective helps you stay calm and unbothered. 6. Set boundaries. Instead of trying to change people, instead of trying to control how people act, control how much access they have to you. If someone is constantly negative, distance yourself from them. If someone is disrespectful, limit your interactions. If someone drains your energy, set clear boundaries to protect your peace. You don't have to argue with every rude person. You don't have to engage with every annoying situation. You don't have to allow people into your life who disrupt your peace. The power is in your hands not to change them, but to decide how much access they have to you. 7. Strengthen your inner stability. The more secure and confident you are within yourself, the less external things will shake you. Work on building your self-esteem, emotional intelligence, and personal peace so that nothing and no one can disturb your inner world. Meditate to cultivate inner calm. Exercise to release stress and tension. Read and learn to expand your wisdom and perspective. Surround yourself with positive, emotionally mature people. When you develop inner strength, external negativity loses its power over you. Final thought on controlling your reactions. The moment you stop trying to control how others behave and instead focus on controlling how you react, your life transforms. You stop getting upset over things that don't matter. You conserve your energy for things that do, and you become truly unshakable. Mastering your reactions is the key to never being angry or bothered by anyone. One of the most important skills you can develop to never get angry or bothered by anyone is emotional strength. Many people mistakenly believe that emotional strength means suppressing emotions or pretending not to care. In reality, emotional strength is about mastering your emotions so that no external force can shake you. It's about maintaining inner stability no matter what happens around you. People who lack emotional strength react impulsively, get easily offended, and allow others to control their mood. On the other hand, emotionally strong people remain calm under pressure, handle criticism with grace, and don't waste their energy on things that don't serve them. When you build emotional strength, you become untouchable. No insult, criticism, or negative situation can break your peace. Why emotional strength is essential: it shields you from negativity. Life is full of difficult people, rude co-workers, inconsiderate strangers, and toxic individuals. Without emotional strength, you absorb their negativity and allow it to affect your mood. But when you're emotionally strong, you let negativity bounce off you instead of letting it sink in. It gives you control over your life. If your emotions are easily influenced by others, you are giving them control over you. If a stranger's rude comment can ruin your day, it means they have power over you. But when you master emotional strength, you take back control. You decide how you feel, not anyone else. It helps you handle conflict with grace. Conflict is inevitable in life. Whether it's a disagreement at work, a misunderstanding with a friend, or a rude comment from a stranger, situations will arise that test your patience. Emotionally weak people react with anger or defensiveness, but emotionally strong people handle these situations calmly and wisely. It builds mental toughness. Emotional strength is closely tied to mental toughness. When you develop the ability to stay calm under pressure, deal with criticism without getting upset, and let go of things that don't matter, you become mentally unstoppable. How to build unshakable emotional strength. 1. Stop letting small things bother you. One of the biggest signs of emotional weakness is getting irritated by minor inconveniences. If someone cuts you off in traffic, if a cashier is rude, if someone disagrees with you, do these things really deserve your energy? Ask yourself, will this matter a year from now? Is this really worth my peace? Am I letting something insignificant control my emotions? When you start seeing how unimportant most annoyances are, you naturally stop reacting to them. 2. Learn to regulate your emotions. Emotionally strong people don't suppress their feelings, they regulate them. This means they don't let their emotions control their actions. Ways to regulate your emotions: take a deep breath before responding to anything that triggers you. Acknowledge your emotions, but don't let them dictate your reaction. Practice mindfulness to create a gap between emotion and response. The more you practice emotional regulation, the more calm and composed you become in all situations. 3. Build inner confidence. A big reason people get offended or upset easily is lack of self-confidence. When you're insecure, you take criticism personally. When you're confident, nothing shakes you. Ways to build confidence: stop seeking approval from others. Accept yourself fully, flaws and all. Remind yourself that other people's opinions do not define you. When you believe in yourself, negative comments lose their power over you. 4. Stop reacting emotionally to everything. Many people live in a constant state of emotional reactivity. If someone is rude, they snap back. If something goes wrong, they panic. But emotional strength means choosing your response instead of reacting impulsively. Train yourself to pause before responding to anything emotionally charged. Observe the situation objectively rather than reacting emotionally. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy, before engaging? Over time, you'll notice that fewer things trigger you. 5. Accept that you can't control everything. A lot of frustration comes from trying to control things that are outside of your power. You can't control how people act, but you can control how you react. Instead of wishing things were different, accept them as they are and adjust your mindset accordingly. You can't control rude people, but you can choose not to engage. You can't control criticism, but you can choose not to take it personally. You can't control setbacks, but you can choose to learn from them. The moment you let go of control, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. 6. Strengthen your mind. True challenge is just like a muscle. Emotional strength grows through resistance. The more challenges you face and overcome, the stronger you become. Don't run from uncomfortable situations, face them. I don't avoid criticism, learn from it. Don't let failures discourage you, use them as fuel to grow. Every time you handle a difficult situation without losing your cool, you level up emotionally. 7. Cultivate an indifferent attitude toward negativity. One of the most powerful emotional skills you can develop is indifference toward negativity. This doesn't mean you don't care about anything. It means you don't let negativity affect your inner peace. If someone insults you, shrug it off instead of defending yourself. If someone tries to provoke you, ignore them instead of engaging. If someone criticizes you unfairly, smile and move on instead of feeling hurt. The ability to remain indifferent to negativity makes you untouchable. Final thought on emotional strength: when you develop unshakable emotional strength, you become immune to negativity. You stop overreacting, you stop letting people affect your mood, and you start handling life with a calm, steady mind. Emotional strength is true power. It allows you to remain peaceful, confident, and in control no matter what happens around you. One of the most powerful ways to ensure that you never get angry or bothered by anyone is to master the art of letting go. Most of the frustration, resentment, and anger we experience comes from holding on to things that no longer serve us, whether it's past hurts, negative experiences, or unrealistic expectations of others. When we cling to these things, we carry unnecessary emotional baggage that weighs us down and keeps us trapped in a cycle of frustration. Letting go is not about ignoring problems or pretending that things don't matter. Instead, it is about choosing peace over conflict, choosing freedom over attachment, and choosing inner calm over emotional chaos. When you learn to release things that do not serve you, you will notice that your mind becomes clearer, your heart becomes lighter, and your ability to remain unbothered increases dramatically. While letting go is essential for inner peace, it frees you from emotional pain. When you hold on to anger, grudges, or past hurts, you are the one suffering. The person who upset you might not even remember what they did, but you continue to relive it in your mind. Letting go allows you to break free from this cycle and reclaim your happiness. It prevents others from controlling your emotions. When you hold on to resentment or frustration, you are giving power to the person who upset you. Every time you replay the situation in your head, you allow them to continue affecting your mood. By letting go, you take back control and refuse to let them dictate how you feel. It helps you focus on what truly matters. Life is too short to waste time on things that don't contribute to your growth and happiness. Letting go allows you to focus your energy on positive things rather than dwelling on negativity that doesn't serve you. It makes you emotionally stronger. The ability to release negativity and move on is a sign of emotional intelligence and strength. People who dwell on the past tend to struggle with emotional instability, but those who can let go remain balanced and resilient. How to master the art of letting go. 1. Stop overanalyzing every negative interaction. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to let go is because they constantly replay situations in their minds. They overanalyze every word, every action, and every response, trying to make sense of it. The truth is, most things are not worth analyzing. Not everyone's words or actions have a deep meaning. Sometimes people act out of their own insecurities, and it has nothing to do with you. Holding on to every little slight or misunderstanding only adds unnecessary stress to your life. Instead of replaying situations over and over, make a conscious decision to move forward. 2. Release the need for closure. Many people struggle to let go because they feel like they need an apology, an explanation, or some kind of closure. They wait for the other person to acknowledge their mistake or make things right. But the reality is, closure is something you give yourself. Some people will never apologize. Some situations will never have a satisfying conclusion. Some people will never understand the pain they caused you. Instead of waiting for closure, choose to move on anyway. Give yourself permission to be at peace without needing anything from the other person. 3. Understand that holding on to anger hurts you more than 10. When you hold a grudge, the only person who suffers is you. Anger and resentment are like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. It only weighs you down. The person who upset you might not even remember the situation. They are likely moving on with their life while you are still stuck in frustration. Every time you think about it, you are allowing them to live rent-free in your mind. Ask yourself, is holding on to this really worth my peace? If the answer is no, then let it go. 4. Stop expecting people to be different. A major cause of frustration comes from expecting people to be something they are not. If you are constantly disappointed by someone's actions, it may be because you have unrealistic expectations of them. Accept people as they are, not as you wish they would be. If someone has a history of being unreliable, stop expecting them to suddenly become dependable. If someone is known to be rude or inconsiderate, stop expecting them to be kind and thoughtful. If someone has repeatedly let you down, stop expecting them to change. When you release the expectation that people should act a certain way, you naturally let go of frustration and disappointment. 5. Learn to forgive, not for them, but for yourself. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful forms of letting go. It does not mean excusing bad behavior or pretending that something didn't happen. It simply means choosing to release the emotional burden of resentment. Forgiveness is for your benefit, not theirs. When you forgive, you free yourself from carrying emotional baggage. When you forgive, you reclaim your peace and move forward. When you forgive, you choose happiness over bitterness. Forgiveness is not about them deserving it, it's about you deserving peace. 6. Detach from negative people and situations. Sometimes letting go means physically distancing yourself from toxic people. If someone is constantly causing you stress, drama, or negativity, it might be time to detach. Limit your interactions with people who drain your energy. Stop engaging in arguments that lead nowhere. Walk away from situations that disrupt your peace. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you value your peace more than unnecessary drama. 7. Focus on the present, not the past. Many people struggle to let go because they are too focused on what happened before. They replay past mistakes, relive old arguments, and dwell on situations they cannot change. The past cannot be undone. No amount of thinking about it will change what happened. The only thing you can control is what you do next. Shift your focus to the present moment. Practice gratitude for what you have now. Remind yourself that the past is gone, but today is a fresh start. When you learn to live in the present, the past loses its power over you. 8. Adopt a let it be mindset. Not everything requires a reaction. Not every problem needs to be solved. Sometimes the best approach is simply to let it be. If someone makes a rude comment, let it be. If someone disappoints you, let it be. If things don't go as planned, let it be. When you stop trying to control everything and instead allow life to unfold as it is, you experience true inner peace. Final thought on letting go. Letting go is not always easy, but it is always worth it. The moment you release anger, grudges, expectations, and emotional attachments that don't serve you, you will feel lighter, happier, and more at peace. When you truly master the art of letting go, you will never be angry or bothered by anyone again. One of the most powerful ways to ensure that you are never angered or bothered by anyone is to cultivate a mindset of indifference to negativity. This does not mean becoming emotionless or ignoring everything around you. Instead, it means choosing what deserves your attention and energy while remaining unshaken by things that do not serve you. Negativity is everywhere. Rude comments, unfair criticism, gossip, jealousy, and toxic people. If you react to every bit of negativity that comes your way, you will always be in a state of frustration, constantly allowing external forces to dictate your emotions. However, when you develop indifference to negativity, you take back control over your mind and emotions. You become untouchable, immune to the drama and toxicity that affect most people. Indifference does not mean you do not care about anything. It means you only care about the things that truly matter and do not let small, insignificant things disrupt your peace. Why indifference to negativity is a superpower. It protects your mental and emotional energy. Every time you engage with negativity, whether it's an argument, a rude remark, or someone else's toxic behavior, you give away your energy. When you develop indifference, you stop allowing negativity to drain you, and you preserve your energy for things that actually matter. It prevents you from being emotionally controlled by others. If someone can easily make you angry, upset, or frustrated, it means they have power over you. Indifference removes that power. You remain calm and composed no matter what others say or do. It stops you from reacting to every little thing. People who are easily triggered are constantly in emotional turmoil. Indifferent people, on the other hand, stay unbothered. They pick their battles wisely and do not waste their emotions on trivial matters. It gives you an unshakable presence. The most powerful people in the world are those who cannot be provoked. When you are indifferent to negativity, people cannot control you, and you become an unmovable force. How to cultivate indifference to negativity. 1. Stop taking everything personally. One of the biggest reasons people get easily offended is that they take everything personally. The reality is that most of what people say and do has nothing to do with you. If someone insults you, it is often a reflection of their own insecurities. If someone is rude, they are likely dealing with their own internal goals. If someone criticizes you unfairly, it is often because they are projecting their own frustrations. When you stop taking things personally, you free yourself from unnecessary anger and hurt. Instead of reacting, you simply shrug it off and move on. 2. Detach your self-worth from external opinions. A major reason people get upset by negativity is that they rely on external validation. If someone praises them, they feel good. If someone criticizes them, they feel bad. This means their emotions are controlled by other people's opinions. True confidence comes from within, not from what others think. If you believe in yourself, no insult or criticism can shake you. The moment you stop seeking approval, you become immune to negativity. Remind yourself, other people's opinions do not define me. I define myself. 3. Choose not to engage in useless arguments. Some people thrive on negativity. They want to provoke reactions, stir up drama, and drag you into pointless debates. But here's the truth. Not every argument is worth your time. If someone is being unreasonable, arguing with them won't change their mind. If someone is being toxic, engaging with them only feeds their negativity. If someone insults you, responding to them gives them the attention they crave. When you remain indifferent to negativity, you walk away from meaningless conflicts and maintain your peace. 4. Develop a mindset of let them be. A powerful way to remain indifferent to negativity is to adopt the mindset of let them be. If someone wants to be negative, let them be. If someone wants to misunderstand you, let them be. If someone wants to spread gossip or hate, let them be. You do not have to correct, argue, or prove anything to anyone. Instead, focus on yourself and let others be whoever they choose to be. 5. Train yourself to emotionally disconnect from triggers. Everyone has emotional triggers, certain comments, behaviors, or situations that instantly make them angry or upset. However, you can train yourself to disconnect from these triggers and remain neutral. The next time something triggers you, pause before reacting. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that you control your emotions, not external events. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? If the answer is no, let it go. Over time, your triggers will lose their power, and you will naturally remain indifferent to negativity. 6. View negativity as a reflection of others, not yourself. When people are negative, rude, or mean, it is usually because of their own inner struggles. Happy, confident, and secure people do not go around trying to bring others down. If someone tries to insult you, it is because they are unhappy with themselves. If someone is constantly negative, it is because they are battling their own demons. If someone spreads rumors or gossip, it is because they lack fulfillment in their own life. When you view negativity as a reflection of the person giving it, rather than something personal, you stop letting it affect you. 7. Laugh at negativity instead of reacting to it. One of the most powerful ways to remain indifferent to negativity is to simply laugh at it. When someone tries to insult or provoke you, instead of getting angry, just smile and find the humor in it. Imagine a child throwing a tantrum. Would you take them seriously? See, negativity is nothing more than noise in the background. The less seriously you take negativity, the weaker it becomes. When you can laugh at negativity, you take away its power completely. Prioritize your peace above all else. At the end of the day, nothing is more valuable than your peace of mind. No argument, no rude comment, no negative person is worth disrupting your inner calm. If something does not bring you peace, let it go. If someone does not contribute to your happiness, distance yourself. If a situation is not worth your energy, ignore it. Indifference to negativity is about choosing peace over unnecessary conflict every single time. Final thought on indifference to negativity. When you master the ability to remain indifferent to negativity, you become immune to external chaos. People can insult you, criticize you, or try to provoke you, but nothing affects you. You stay calm, unshaken, and at peace because you have trained yourself to only focus on what truly matters. At the end of the day, the power to remain unbothered and free from anger lies entirely within you. No one can control your emotions unless you allow them to. The moment you decide to rise above negativity, let go of unnecessary burdens, and choose peace over conflict, you free yourself from the grip of frustration and irritation. Life is too short to waste energy on things and people that do not serve your well-being. Instead of reacting to negativity, focus on what brings you joy, growth, and fulfillment. When you learn to detach from external chaos and protect your inner calm, you become truly untouchable. So, from this moment forward, make the conscious decision to never let anyone disturb your peace again. Stay focused, stay calm, and remember the best response to negativity is always indifference and self-mastery.